So without further ado, let's introduce Christopher talking about DomRaider.
I'm Christophe, CFO of DomRaider, so I have to be very quick to introduce our project, which is an auction technology on the blockchain. First, I will introduce the company. We are a well-established company in France, in the business for nearly 20 years now. At first, we were a casual gaming website with more than 35 million of players. We sold this company 5 years ago. We kept the money in the group, and now we've got 3 activities. One in real estate, a second one is our own investment fund, and we launched DomRaider 4 years ago. DomRaider is working in the space of domain names. It's a drop catcher. It's the European leader of drop catching. Drop catching is a business when a domain name is going to be dropped. We qualify them with a lot of metrics, especially SEO metrics. And when we think it's a valuable domain name, we catch it and we sell it in auctions. At the moment, we've got a team of 33 employees. We've already organized more than 10,000 auctions, and we want to bring this community into the blockchain. Here you can see our team of employees, the board of advisors with very famous guys in the blockchain space, and also our partners as our banks, the Public Bank of Investment in France, the French government, and some famous companies in the blockchain. In the domain space, people always say that auctions are not fair, not transparent, and they have to register in many systems. What we want to do is to build a system which, at the opposite, will be scalable, reliable, transparent, fair, at very low cost. But more than a technology, what we want to build, it's a complete ecosystem in order for everyone who wants to organize an auction sale to be able to find the functionalities or the services in need for that. For example, the proof of property, proof of delivery, financial services, insurance services, and so on. Because this technology is not only aimed to expired domain names, but for all kinds of auctions, such as car auctions, real estate auctions, and so on. Our token will be used. I won't explain it in detail now because I haven't time. It will mainly be used to buy and sell products and service on the platform. We already organize about 100 auctions every day. The development is running at the moment, and we think the blockchain technology for auction will be available by the end of next year. Our ICO is running at the moment. It will end in October 11th. At the moment, it's quite a big success, but we still have token to sell, and we're still available to offer bonus to investors, of course. How the fund raised will be used? They will mainly be used first to develop the technology, to support the growth of the business of the company, and mainly to support the development of the community, because we know that a token will raise in value only if people use it, and for this we have to develop a very large community, as we already done with Pricey and its 35 million of users. Last point, but not the least, today we can say we are the first legal ICO in France. We did a lot of work with our lawyers. Of course, we had to speak with the French regulators, the fiscal administration, and so on. And at the moment, everything is okay. Of course, I can't say we are fully compliant with the French regulation, because as in many countries, there's no regulation in France for ICO. But we can do this operation, and maybe the best proof of this is at the moment we are the first company to do TV ads to promote our ICO. If you go to the main financial channels in France, you will see our TV ads on them. Okay, thank you very much.
So next up, we're going to be talking about mesh networks. So the way we connect to the internet is very centralized. So how can we create a decentralized approach and increase accessibility? Let's introduce Chris Jensen talking about right mesh.
Thank you. Good. Hi, as the nice man said, I'm Chris Jensen. I'm one of the co-founders of Right Mesh. And in my 5 minutes, I'm going to try to introduce you to a new world. And in this world lives Jahid. Jahid, containing a person, sitting wall man, apparently. Jahid is our driver in Bangladesh. We have a team of 60 people out in Bangladesh and 30 people in Canada, where I'm based full-time. And Jahid doesn't get his internet like you or I get it. He goes to this guy over here once a week, and he gives him his phone, and the man pops out the SIM card, and he puts all the content that he wants, some cricket highlights, some videos, some music, bit of content, and that's Jahid's internet for the week. He pays him 30 taka, which is about 25 cents, and that's the only way that he gets his internet. And why does it matter? Well, it matters because we like Jahid. He's a really good guy. He deserves better. But there's also another 4 billion people that don't have reliable access to the internet or mobile data. And if we could connect those 4 billion people, we could raise 500 million of them out of poverty. That's according to a PricewaterhouseCoopers report. And that's the right thing to do. It's getting worse. There's going to be 6 billion smartphones and 20 billion IoT devices all fighting for that bandwidth by 2020. And guess what? The system can't cope. The network in many, many countries is crappy and overcrowded and doesn't support the basic needs. Demand is going up exponentially all the time because suddenly people want bigger files, they want videos, they want that direct access, and they can't get it. Because people in developing markets can't afford to pay a lot for their data, there's no economic incentive for the telcos to actually improve that data, the data infrastructure, and make it better, which means it doesn't get any better, which means they're stuck. We in the West will get 5G. That'll be great. It'll be lovely for us, but it'll increase that digital divide between the haves and the have-nots, and that's not the right thing to do. So we need a different approach. And the different approach is what we're doing. You have to change the paradigm. You have to get away from everybody always connected to the internet to everybody always connected. I don't need internet connection. I need to be connected to a person that's connected to a person that's connected to the internet, and I have to incentivize that person on the end to make their data or their connectivity from their data plan or the coffee shop they're sitting into available through to me. That's what Right Mesh does. We've created a platform that just connects people in a truly infrastructureless peer-to-peer network where the device in your pocket becomes the infrastructure and it moves to wherever you are. No internet, no SIM card, no hardware, no middlemen, and every single node in the mesh has at its very heart an Ethereum ID. So now you get 1 billion people that have the ability to access the blockchain, the ability to interact with cryptocurrencies that previously haven't had anything. They just haven't been able to get the internet. It's a completely different world, and it's a much better world for those people than they currently have. So where are we? Where do we stand on that process? Well, I like to tell people the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. We started this 3.5 years ago. We've had a team of up to 30 people, PhDs, doctors, professors, a whole bunch of really smart people working on this. We've put $7–8 million of our own money into this, and we're at a really, really crucial and important part of our stage that I need you guys to help with. We have a big announcement to make today. It's not that we're doing a TGE or an ICO, because that probably wouldn't surprise anybody here, because 37 people have said that so far today. What's important today is that we're actually announcing here and at the India Blockchain Show in Mumbai and at the Blockchain Show in Dubai that we're now accepting applications for the first external developers to get access to our SDK so you can start building solutions on the top of our platform. Go to rightmesh.io, visit our developer portal, apply. We want people within this community to start building mesh-enabled apps. With our SDK, you can either mesh-enable your app with 7 lines of code, or you can create your own apps. So imagine 1 billion people that were previously unconnected that now are connected with crypto, with blockchain built in at the heart of it. You can help those people. Work out what you would do to change the world, get our SDK, change that world, make it a better place. Right mesh is the right thing to do. Thank you.
So next up, we're going to be taking a little divergence from ICOs and talk about a business model being taken onto the blockchain. So without further ado, let's introduce John Wise, and we're going to be talking about his company, Loki.
I'm John Wise, and like you said, I'm a little bit different here. I have an existing business. We've been around since 2011. Started this side of things up, which is effectively intellectual property over the blockchain, but we started as a patent searching tool offered to law firms and anybody that has inventions anywhere in the world. We've been around for quite some time. In fact, we patented almost all of this technology, including some of the blockchain elements, in 2008, and we've expanded quite a bit from there. But I have a question for everybody. How many people here have an idea or have had an idea? Just give me a show of hands. Okay. Of everybody that kept their hands down, you probably have, right? You've dropped your cell phone in the toilet and wished it was waterproof. You cut yourself and wished that you had some glove. It doesn't really matter. Everybody has ideas, right? Of the people that did raise their hand, though, how many of them were an actual invention? Just another show of hands. Maybe 4, okay? And how many have filed a patent? Okay, way more than the 4 people that had the invention, so there's a breakdown there. And of those people, how many have actually made any money from your patent or invention or tech? One guy in this entire room, one guy has made any money. There's a reason for that. The reason is patents suck. They're really expensive. They take a long time. You really have no transparency. And ultimately, even after getting your patent and everything else, you really don't know if somebody else is knocking you off. You have no idea what the value of it is. There's really no transparent valuation metric. There's no way to know, right? Part of the problem is this. This is every currency around the world, right? Look at how many currencies there are here. Look at Africa. Something like 1,400 different currencies in Africa, right? This is a really big problem. So, obviously, this is why we're all here, right? We all like crypto. We all like blockchain of some sort. But this is a problem not just because of crypto in general, but each of these currencies allow for real purchasing power. That being said, the reason that this allows for real purchasing power is because you can buy products, which then contributes to GDP, which then contributes to the products being manufactured, the businesses, markets, stock markets, exchanges, so on and so forth. That is where we come in. What we do is we've got this very simple searching tool, which is just a Venn diagram. It's 4 searches displayed in a Venn diagram. Anybody can do any searches, 4 searches at a time, display the things, and immediately see the overlaps between their relevant searches. They can see what is relevant and save that. From there, what you can do is create these result sets, go deeper and deeper and deeper. Ultimately, the act of doing the search to see if your idea has already been patented or if somebody else has taken it grants you the global exclusive right for 12 months to a patent. Yes, doing this search gets you the same rights as a patent does. In which case there, you stake all of your inventions on the blockchain through public disclosure, and you can immediately sell the right to your invention or idea. Now what that means is that you don't need to worry about it being patentable. You don't need to worry about a copyright. You don't need to worry about the lawyers. You don't even need to make sure that you can ever produce that product. There are people out there that are interested in buying your idea. Right away, we can take the premise. You dropped your cell phone in the toilet and wished it was waterproof. Okay, do a search and make some money from it. Make some crypto and go from there. Now, what we've ultimately built here is we've built a way for people to mine cryptocurrency with intellectual thought. Okay, I'll let that one sink in for a second. No computers, no internets, no anything else. You come up with an idea, you can earn crypto for it by selling that idea directly back to Loki, in which case Loki then packages those inventions together, and we sell them to banks or to enterprises or corporations as a package deal. It's called an investment pool. Now, if we sell to banks, what we then can do, those banks can actually parse those investment pools back out and offer equities, derivatives, securities, all sorts of other things, bonds, out of that investment pool. So say somebody comes up with 10 microscopic speakers, has no way in the world of actually creating or producing those speakers. We then package those speakers together with 10 batteries, microphones, screens, so on and so forth, and sell them to Apple for crypto. So my time's up. That went pretty fast, but thank you very much.
So next up, we're going to be putting the electrical grid on the blockchain. So let's introduce Carl, and he's going to be talking about Grid Plus.
Hello, thanks. My name is Carl Kreeder, and I'm the Director of Energy at Consensus. And if you're not familiar with Consensus, it is arguably the world's largest blockchain consulting firm at the moment. We have 320 employees spread about the world with our headquarters in Brooklyn. The founder of Consensus was Joe Lubin, who is also a co-founder of Ethereum. But today, I'm going to be talking to you about Grid Plus, and I am a co-founder of Grid Plus. And as was mentioned, Grid Plus is a blockchain-based electrical utility or a electricity retailer that we're starting in Texas next year. So what does Consensus know about electricity, and why are we deciding to start Grid Plus? Well, our first electricity project that we did demonstrating using blockchain as a mechanism of financial settlement was the world's first, and that actually started prior to the launch of the Ethereum blockchain. That was known as the Brooklyn microgrid. Since then, we've done a number of additional projects, one of which I can talk about is Cotricity, and that was developed with Innogy. Innogy is one of Germany's largest utilities, and currently we're working with several Fortune 50 energy companies developing decentralized exchanges, automated trading functionality, as well as using embedded controllers to create autonomous agents to automate trading on a customer's behalf. So what efficiencies can we actually bring to the world by creating a blockchain-based electricity retailer? If we look at the price structure of the market in Texas, residential energy is currently about 11 cents, while the actual cost of buying that electricity in wholesale and then paying the distribution charges is about 5.5 or 6 cents. So current electricity retailers mark up the cost of energy by about 100%. And using blockchain, we can collapse a lot of those economic inefficiencies which they charge for out of the supply chain, and we believe that we can reduce the cost of retail electricity by roughly 40%. And to do that, we have to enable consumers to naively but securely use blockchain, which actually has never been done before. And so how are we going to do that? Oh, yeah. I just want to point out one thing with Grid Plus. Grid Plus is a retail electricity provider. So in Texas, which is a deregulated market, the generation is a competitive business, and retailing is a competitive business, and transmission and distribution is a regulated business. The point that I want to make here is that Grid Plus is not building any infrastructure. We're not maintaining generation facilities. We're not maintaining electrical distribution. We are basically a financial intermediary between the customers and the wholesale markets, and we're using the blockchain to give those customers access to wholesale markets and wholesale pricing with very, very little markup. So how are we actually going to allow customers to securely use a blockchain who have no idea what a blockchain is and may not even know that they're using a blockchain? So we have introduced something called 2 of 3 blind key multi-signature security, and we believe that this is potentially a catalyst for widespread adoption of blockchain. It's a variation upon normal multi-signature security, but it introduces the idea of a blind key, which is a key that sits on what we call our smart energy agent. The smart energy agent is able to buy, sell, and trade energy on the blockchain on the behalf of the consumer, as well as predict the consumer's energy use so that they can buy energy in the most cost-efficient manner. It's also the mechanism for how we create a blind key. So in addition to hopefully making electricity markets much more efficient, we also believe that our smart energy agent is a key piece of infrastructure for the rails of Web 3.0. Grid Plus is a little bit of a Trojan horse in that it's enabling us to put in a general purpose computing environment that has access to secure storage and use of private keys. So this actually enables many other distributed ledger technologies to be built on top of having all of these distributed nodes amongst a vast number of consumers. And some examples of that is the agent could potentially be used as an IPFS node, an Infura node, or a remote Casper signing node. So this is the current Grid Plus full-time team. It's 8 full-time people. We have 7 advisors. We also draw from the talent of the 320 individuals that work at Consensus Systems. We're in the process of doing a token pre-sale, which is wrapping up this week, and we're doing our token sale to the public at the end of October. Thanks.
So up next, we're going to talk about gamified microtasks on the blockchain. So let's introduce Simon. He's going to introduce StormX.
Hello, hello. My name is Simon Yu. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Storm. We're a gamified microtask marketplace on the blockchain. So our background is we've created an app called BitMaker for the past 3 years. We've rewarded users free Bitcoin and Ether by opting in their time to trying products and services. Imagine you're trying to try Uber for the first time. It's kind of an irony in London, but then you can get paid $20 directly as a user for willing to try a new service rather than Uber paying for advertisers and the users not getting any benefit. So we've worked on this project for the past 3 years, and we've actually done really well. We've gained organically over a network of users of 1.1 million users across 187 countries. We've distributed over 240 Bitcoins, and we have amazing customers and products like Hulu, Dollar Shave Club, Uber, T-Mobile, and many others as well. And so for the past 3 years, we've worked on this, but we really launched our milestone in February of this year. And we've onboarded at least 900 products since February by allowing these advertisers to be able to reward users directly by trying out their platform. We've proved that not only is it beneficial for users as they're able to receive money, but it's also beneficial for advertisers as they're able to pay for engagement, which is much more valuable as a business owner. You want sales and conversions rather than impressions, clicks, or installs. And so what really separates us from a lot of the different crowd-sale companies is we started backwards. Instead of 2 guys in a white paper saying we're going to raise millions of dollars to try to launch a kick-ass product, we found product market fit. And we're now, with an angel round investment, we're trying to expand our marketplace and grow this network further. And as a result of our execution, hard work, and grit, we've accumulated some of the world-class advisors in blockchain, fintech, gaming, and just in general. We have Bittrex CEO Bill, we have Anthony Diorio, we have Guy of Bancor, Brian Kelly, and many more that we could just list off. And so one of the really important lessons that we learned by doing this for the past 3 years is the fact that people like to come to us because they like the ability to earn money. And advertising, although it's really cool, it's like going to Costco. You check out Costco, go check out 4 samples, and after you do that, there's not much you can do. And the ultimate objective of people is to earn money. So how can we expand on that? And our solution was this. So we wanted to create the growing freelance market, and there's jobs, more and more jobs coming online, being able to apply that on the blockchain to our current application and allow people to have more of an ability to earn outside of just checking out products. And today what we're seeing with Upwork, Fiverr, Mechanical Turk, and some of these services is you're able to hire a UX designer from England. You're able to hire a developer from Brazil and a community manager from China. And as all of us in the blockchain know, it's a very global community. So there's 3.4 billion people in the workplace, and approximately 40% of that workforce is going to be remote by 2020, either full-time or part-time. But the problem with the current systems is the technology is there, but the payment systems have not caught up to it. There's ACH fees, PayPal, I could go on about this, but you guys probably know more than I do. It is very inefficient to facilitate microtransactions. You try to send someone in India $1 if tasks that were completed, and ultimately it ends up being 20 cents. It's not very good. We want to connect the people that are willing to hire and the people that are willing to work and close that gap in between so we can allow people ultimately to be able to earn more money rather than the companies in the middle. And so we're doing this in 3 steps. So we've started out with BitMaker, which will be rebranded to what's called Storm Play, with connecting advertisers and users. And then we're eventually going to create Storm Shop, which will allow people to get cash back by checking out products online and being able to purchase. And ultimately, our big project is going to be Storm Gigs, which will allow people to earn money through Mechanical Turk, machine learning tasks, QA testing, and as well as just skilled jobs as well. Our big focus here is gamification. We want this entire user experience to feel like you're playing a World of Warcraft game or a Final Fantasy. And we think that this is the biggest differentiator in the blockchain space. In order for blockchain to really grow as a whole ecosystem, we need to allow the average person to be able to hop on, not understand how to send the Ether address, and being able to work or hire at ease, and just being able to do that all in a mobile app. And so with gamification, blockchain, and 3.4 billion users, we see this massive potential in our game. And so our team is growing fast. And if you want to come follow us, please visit us at stormtoken.com. Thank you so much for your time.
So next up, we're going to be connecting consumers with grocery manufacturing. So let's talk about INS ecosystem with Peter.
I'm going to be talking about a very traditional industry that everyone in this room has experienced as a consumer, the grocery industry. It's one of the largest consumer markets in the world with $8.5 trillion of volume expected by 2020. And today, when you come to a grocery store, you're at the very end of a very long supply chain. And this supply chain is expensive to operate and is limiting customer choice. When you come to the store and you think you purchase what you want, you actually purchase what retailer makes the highest profit on. And in the 21st century, we believe that consumers have to decide what brands they want, what products they need, whether they want to purchase from local or national manufacturers. That's why we created INS ecosystem, a decentralized marketplace that directly connects grocery manufacturers and consumers. And we've been in the grocery space for the last 4 years, and we've interacted a lot with the manufacturers and realized that they actually want to sell directly to consumers. They actually want to market directly to consumers. And the logos you see on the slide are the guys whom we have signed memorandum of understanding with, and you might recognize some of the largest names in the grocery manufacturing space. So the problem in grocery retail is that the supply chain is very long, it's outdated, it's expensive, it hasn't changed since late 19th century or in the early 20th century. So, and retailers are often in the bottleneck of the supply chain, and on the slide you see the example of the United Kingdom with 4 retailers controlling around 76% of the market. So we don't like that. That's why we created INS, a system that connects grocery manufacturers, consumers, and third-party fulfillment providers who do the box moving. But importantly, we connect manufacturers and consumers in terms of direct marketing. Today, 70% of manufacturer budgets go through trade channels. It means that wholesalers and retailers are the ultimate beneficiaries of that, not us as consumers. What INS enables manufacturers to run is bespoke loyalty programs based on smart contracts. So for example, if you're Coca-Cola, you can set a certain rules based on which if consumers purchase your products, you can unlock tokens to them as a reward. And you can, for example, say these tokens cannot be used to purchase PepsiCo products or any other competitor products. And the INS token is the only means for promotion and rewards programs on the platform, and it's also one of the means of payments. And manufacturers will be purchasing INS tokens to reward their loyal customers and connect with the customers directly. And in essence, we are shortening the supply chain, we are making it more efficient, and we are enabling manufacturers to market the goods directly to the customers. So we know the grocery industry very intimately. We've been there for the last 4 years. The team behind INS has created Instamart, the largest venture-backed grocery delivery service in Russia, backed by Mail.ru Group, an ex-vice president of Walmart and vice chairman of Jet.com. We have delivered over 100,000 orders. We can deliver fresh groceries to your doorsteps in a handful of hours, and we have over 200 full-time people in our team. So with INS, we have completed a number of important milestones. We have the team in place, 35 people full-time. We have memorandum of understanding signed with Unilever, with Reckitt Benckiser, with Valio, with Mars, and with some of the largest grocery manufacturers in the world. We're full steam ahead with our ICO, and we're going to be developing the platform in the first half of 2018, with the platform going live in the second half of 2018 with a pilot in Moscow, Russia, and then with a rollout across the largest metropolitan areas in Europe, North America, and Southeast Asia. So our token sale will be announced later today. Our pre-sale starts on the 16th of October, and our ICO starts on the 20th of November. Please join our Telegram, Twitter, and Facebook, and we have an ICO booth in the Oval Office. We still have some chocolate tokens left. Please come by, say hello. We'll be happy to address any questions you might have. Thank you.
So now we're going to talk about the tokenization of real-world assets. So let's give a warm welcome to Rita as she talks about BankX.
Hello, World Blockchain Forum. My name is Rita Golub, and I lead the business development efforts at BankX. BankX is the pioneer of tokenization of real-world assets. Our mission is to enable new sources of capital using real assets to bridge the gap between traditional finance and blockchain. So what does this all really mean, and what problem are we trying to solve? So simply put, we're solving two things. We're solving liquidity, and we're solving for asymmetric information in the financial markets. Our client base ranges from financial institutions to small businesses to individuals. We are partners with Microsoft Azure as a bridge between our proof of asset protocol and the financial institutions, and we're also members of the Symphony Foundation. So we at BankX consider tokenization to be as one of the best applications of blockchain technology as it relates to the financial markets. So as some of you may be aware, securitization or traditional securitization in itself has flaws. And two of those flaws are essentially it's the fact that it's extremely time consuming and it's very costly. So to give you an example, an average transaction can cost north of $500,000 and can take up to 6 months. So that's very inefficient. Tokenization, in essence, is very similar to securitization, but it solves for those inefficiencies. So the market opportunity, as we estimated, it is over $10 trillion. It's a huge opportunity. So if you look at this graph here, it basically scales from most liquid assets to least liquid assets. So while there are some efficiencies to be gained in the more liquid space, our focus at BankX is really everything below this line. So I'm talking about empty lots versus mortgages, small business loans versus bonds. Obviously, huge opportunity in the commodity space with gold, lithium, carbon. So huge market opportunity. Using our BankX Open Asset Foundation, our mission is to really create a decentralized ecosystem whereby we engage all the participants of the financial market. So I'm talking about investment banks, VCs, asset managers, hedge funds, engineers, fintech providers. And to give you an example, if we're confronted with a problem that is not yet resolved and does not have a smart contract, we can actually engage the right engineers, the right talents through our Open Asset Foundation and be able to compensate those engineers using our BKX token. So the focus here is on building a decentralized global community of market participants. So this is a high-level diagram of our Bank-as-a-Service platform, and I want to emphasize that it's high-level. But really, the few takeaways that I want you to get out of here is the green box in the middle is what I call our secret BankX formula, our engine. And the key here is, depending on the type of asset that we're dealing with, we may need to engage third-party providers. And by third-party providers, I mean it could be a fintech provider, it could be an IoT provider, Internet of Things, or it could be an escrow agent in some cases. So this is just a small sample of our deal pipeline to give you a taste of the type of products that we are working on. Tokenization of bank KYC. So this is something that's already rolled out in several banks in Russia. As you may be aware, know your customer standards vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. We may potentially be rolling this out in other jurisdictions. For the time being, we're just looking at the Russian market. Late-stage VC portfolio. So this is tokenization of VC portfolios in the secondary market. We're talking with a few VCs in the US who are pretty excited about this opportunity, so we're working in those use cases. Pretty interesting. Moscow City skyscraper. So this is an interesting case where we're working with an office building management company, whereby they want to tokenize a building and be able to use the method of tokenization to rent out the office space. So using IoT technology, Internet of Things, we can actually track the occupancy or vacancy of each office at any given point in time by tracking the physical parameters through IoT. So it's a pretty interesting case, and you can develop a one-to-one relationship whereby one token equals one office within a building. And in case you're all wondering, there's more to BankX than just me. Our core team on the business side has significant experience in the banking space, hence the name BankX, ex-bankers. Our CEO and founder, Igor Khmel, who unfortunately could not join us today, he has unparalleled experience in business strategy, fintech innovation, product development. He's a Stanford MBA, alum of Citadel Hedge Fund and McKinsey. He then went on to found Innovation Lab at Sberbank, which is the largest bank in Russia. And the advisory board, I'm being cut off. Do you mind? I'm done? All right. Well, come find us at the booth area. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your attention.
So next up, the name is a bit self-explanatory. So we're going to have Samit introduce the Decentralized News Network.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samit Singh, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of DNN, or Decentralized News Network. And we want to bring transparency back into the news. So the problem here is threefold, right? We have this enormous level of distrust with the mainstream media. Let's take the US as an example. So right now, only 32% of Americans have a reasonable amount of faith in the mass media to fairly and accurately report the news. And that's a historical low. On top of that, we have this whole issue of fake news, which seems to be spiraling out of control week after week. And it's come to the point that we don't necessarily know if we can trust every single thing that we read. And this is also having the consequential effect of pushing writers to produce sensationalistic articles that target ad revenue at the expense of factual reporting. So overall, much of the news that most of us in this room consume on a day-to-day basis is being created by these centralized bureaucratic corporations, and they all have their own political agendas in mind. And we don't think that's necessarily okay. So what can we do about it? With DNN, we're building a decentralized censorship news platform that will deliver factual, source-based news to a community that's going to be curated by readers, writers, and reviewers. So at a very basic level, the way this is going to work is a writer would submit content to a set of reviewers, a randomized set of reviewers on the platform, who will then vet the article for factual integrity. So all of this will be approved by this randomized set of reviewers after they reach this majority vote consensus. And after that, it gets published to the blockchain and made available for readers to consume without the risk of ever being taken down. So all of this is underpinned by a unique two-token economy, which we developed with the help of Smith & Crown. So users on the platform can both earn and spend tokens, but I want to quickly highlight the earning potential for all participants. So writers can earn tokens by submitting articles and getting them successfully published in the network, while reviewers can earn by fact-checking and approving said articles. And lastly, readers can also earn by conducting certain actions, such as suggesting topics for writers to cover or flagging articles for additional inaccuracies after they've been published. So the tokens that are being earned by all these participants, they're called DCC tokens. And DCC tokens are more or less an IOU. And they represent your proportional right to DNN tokens based on your efforts on the platform. And at any point after these payout periods have been administered, DCC tokens can be swapped for DNN tokens at any time. And DNN tokens are the tokens that represent the actual value on the platform. In terms of how we're building this, so far we've been envisioning DNN as a web-based application sitting on top of Ethereum with smart contracts facilitating the entire end-to-end review process. And articles that get approved are persisted off-chain to IPFS and then referenced on-chain by hash. And we're also using this really cool tool called ZeroNet, which is a BitTorrent-like protocol, which allows us to deliver the application without the need for a central server. And here's the best part. We've already built a large portion of this for our alpha, which we launched on testnet this past June. So it started off featuring very basic smart contract functionality, but so far the reception has been tremendous to the point that we've been making almost weekly, these like weekly updates to just refine and polish what we've already got. So in terms of the next steps, we're looking to start planning out the look and feel of the beta while beginning to cultivate a network of writers, reviewers, and readers. And all the while, we've been engaging back and forth with journalists to test the strength of our editorial guidelines, which are the guidelines reviewers have to follow to approve articles. And beyond that, we will be conducting a pre-sale and crowd sale, the details of which we'll be announcing very, very soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. So overall, our team features a pretty well-rounded mix of experience across the tech industry as a whole, crypto, of course, and the media industry. And we're super excited to be building something that we deem to be really, really ambitious. And we're even more excited that we get to use, we get to leverage Ethereum to do so. And if anyone has any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Definitely feel free to join our Slack at slack.dnn.media. We're always thrilled to answer any type of questions in like really, really great detail about all the, just the granular details about how we're implementing DNN and what we hope to achieve with it. So feel free to join our Slack, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. And overall, we're looking forward to seeing just how we can impact the future of creation of the news on the blockchain. So thanks a lot for listening.
Now we have our final pitch. And quite appropriately, if any of you are excited about hosting your own ICO, we're going to have Daria here introduce ICO Box.
My name is Daria Generalova. I'm a market strategy advisor for ICO Box. They have just had the ICO token sale. It's actually closed on September 15, and we did quite well. So why am I here? Let me start from the beginning. If you want to do an ICO, you will need for sure 3 core elements. It's technology, legal, and marketing. You will need a smart contract for a token, you will need a book building platform, and you will need a smart contract management system as parts of technology. And you will need to make sure that you comply with all the law regulations because you don't want to have any troubles with SEC, for example. And of course, you need your marketing to make sure that your clients know you and they buy your token. So ICO Box is a full operating company. We provide all those services. I hope you like the presentations of the team of Instamart, INS project. We are one of our clients, quite nice guys. So we have basic packages, which are quite easy. You can buy any one technology, legal, or marketing package. It will be 25 Bitcoins plus 1% success fee in tokens, any 2 elements for 40 Bitcoins with 2% success fee, and the whole package of all 3 elements for 50 Bitcoin with 3% success fee. If you can see, was 25, 40, and 50 BTC prices is a fixed price. It's actually about of our operational costs. But what we encountered is that some projects, in some of them really promising ones, which we would like to have in our portfolio, sometimes don't have even this kind of money as our upfront fees. So that's where we decided to step up and to help them. We had our own ICO. So token holders buy tokens ICOs from the platform, and all the money go to escrow. We issue tokens for them, and for each 100 tokens, we issue 20 additional tokens for the team, advisors, and so on. After this, new projects who want to have ICOs with no upfront fees apply at our ICOs platform, and ICOs token holders choose those of them which they would like to have ICO with no upfront fees. We help them with ICO, and they go to the pre-sale stage and put a part of their tokens, a fixed amount of them, to the platform. So now ICOs token holders can choose and exchange to which tokens they want to exchange their ICOs tokens. For each, for example, full package, which worth 50 BTC, we will put 240 Bitcoins worth of their tokens to the platform. So if you see, the proportion on funds collected to tokens allocated is always 1 to 4.8. This is how you get to 20% for the team and advisors. So if you just check token issued to tokens allocated proportion, you will see 1 to 4 always. So when you exchange your ICOs tokens to new project tokens, you always get this proportion. You get 4 times more tokens worth for your ICOs tokens. So, as I said, we collected about 4K BTC. What does it mean? It means that we can have at least 79 projects which can have their ICOs without no upfront fees right now. So you may be one of the next projects. You can just go to the ICOs platform and apply online, and we will be happy to see you as our client. Thank you very much.